Now, having looked at what does GMAT test and how does it test, and having gotten a flavor of the actual GMAT questions, now let's look at how does GMAT score. So the score range for various sections in GMAT is as is given here. So in the AWA section, which is the essay section, you can score from 0 to 6 in jumps of 0.5. So you can score 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5 and so on till 6. The maximum score is 6. In IR you can score from 1 to 8 in jumps of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. In quant you can score 0 to 60. Even though theoretically it's 60, but GMAT doesn't give you above 51. In verbal also, even though the theoretical maximum score is 60, but you don't get a score above 51, at least I haven't seen it. And overall score is from 200 to 800 in jumps of 10. So 200, 210 to 20, 230 and so on. Okay. But besides score, there is an important thing, that is percentile. So percentile means the percentage of people who are behind you. For example, let's look at the percentiles in AWA scores. So if you get a 6, that is the perfect score on AWA section, then you get a 92 percentile, which means that 92% of the people are behind you, which also means that 8% of the people who take AWA section score a perfect 6 on it. Okay, and if you score a 5.5 on AWA, then you get a 81 percentile, which means that 81% of the people are behind you. Okay, and so on. You can see the table. So you can also see that at a score of 4, you have a 21 percentile, which means 21% of the people are behind you. And the mean score that they have calculated is 4.34. Now mean score is not the median score. So median score is the score of the 50th percentile person, right? Now here the person with the 50th percentile would have scored 4.5, right? So mean is 4.34 and median is 4.5. Now in integrated reasoning section, if you get a perfect 8 on it, you get 92 percentile. If you get a 7, you have 81 percentile and so on and so forth. Okay, so in this the mean score is 4.32. In quantitative section, if you score 51 to 60, so generally I haven't seen anyone scoring 52 or anything above 51. If you score a 51, you get 97 percentile. If you get 50, then you have 87 percentile and so on. And here the mean score is 38.34. In verbal, if you score 45 to 51, again here they haven't even given the range 51 to 60. So if you score 45 to 51, you are at 99 percentile, which means 99% of the people are actually behind you. Okay, and if you score 44, then 98% of the people are behind you. And you can see the percentiles for different scores. And here the mean score is 27.10. And then we have total score. So if you score from 760 to 800, you get a 99 percentile. And if you score a 700, you have 89 percentile. So if you are thinking of scoring 90 percentile, so you should be aiming for 700 to 710. Okay, and then at 650, you have a 76 percentile, which means you are ahead of 3/4 of the people who take GMAT. Okay, and then you can see corresponding percentile for every score, and the mean score is 550. Okay, now the point I want to highlight here is that if you look at the quant score, so at Q44 you get a 57 percentile. Okay, on the other hand, if you get a V44, that is verbal 44, you get a 98 percentile. Okay, so for 57 percentile, actually you just need verbal 30 score. Okay, so you can see that the scores in quantitative and verbal sections are not comparable. Okay, so you should keep in mind when you are actually planning your target GMAT score, when you're actually sort of preparing your splits of the scores that you are planning to score in your GMAT exam. Okay, so for example, if you're targeting a GMAT score of, let's say, 700, okay, so this is the table that can roughly give you what you will score given your split. So if you score a V40, okay, so this is the column for V40, and if you score a Q48, then you will have a 720. Okay, and similarly for every split of quant and verbal, you can see what is the total score that you can expect. Now this is a rough figure, this is not the official table. Okay, so this is the table from gmatclub.com. I think this is accurate with an error of 20 to 30 points. Okay, so if you're getting a V40 and Q48, it says 720, so I think it should be right within a range of 20 to 30 points. So you should expect a score from 700 to 740 in this case. Okay, now if you're targeting 700, you can see there are many possibilities, right? From here to here, let's say, right? Again, you can consider 710, 690 also. So these are the various possibilities of quant and verbal scores that you have. Now scoring a 38 on quant is much more easier than scoring a 38 on verbal, because 38 on verbal means 84 percentile, whereas 38 on quant means just 46 percentile. So okay, you shouldn't just say, no, I want to score sort of equally in quant and verbal. If you're thinking of scoring almost equally in quant and verbal, you should look at percentiles. So you can say that, yeah, I want to score around 80 percentile on quant and 80 percentile on verbal. In that case, you should be aiming for around 48 on quant and around 37 on verbal. Okay, in that case, 48 on quant and 37 on verbal will give you around 690. Okay, so it could be 670, 680, 690, 700. So this table is not very accurate. So again, using this table, you can figure out the splits that you are targeting. Now, I think that you should not be doing this exercise at the beginning of your preparation, because you may not get a very clear picture of your strengths and weaknesses, and you should actually be deciding your target splits, which is a target score in verbal and quant, depending upon your strengths. But your strengths you can know only after you have done some preparation. So I think after, let's say, 5 or 6 weeks of your preparation, you should look at this table and see, okay, this is where I want to be. Okay, then accordingly you can plan your preparation. Okay. Now the last subsection of this section about GMAT, the importance of GMAT score. Now this is a graph from GMAT Club, so it tells you the admission rate against your GMAT scores. Now this is for Harvard, Stanford and Wharton. So now for GMAT score below 700, the admission rate is almost nil. And then you can see for GMAT scores from 700 to 750, the admission rate is around 7%. And for a GMAT score above 750, the admission rate is 18%. So you can see that there is a very positive correlation between your GMAT score and your admission rate. And this is not only applicable to just Harvard, Stanford and Wharton. This is applicable to many top schools. So this is again data compiled by gmatcloud.com. So this is for super elite schools. I think by super elite schools they refer to the top 20 schools. So you can see a very positive correlation between your admission rate and your GMAT score. And the same also holds for top 50 B school, that there is a very positive correlation between your GMAT score and your admission rate. Now you can look at this chart also. This chart also plots admission rates for various B schools for different GMAT scores. So for GMAT scores above 750, you can see that the green bars are the longest ones, and then you have these orange bars For scores between 700 and 750, you can see they are also longer than the blue bars which refer to scores below 700. So the basic idea is that your GMAT score has a very important role in your admissions in B schools. Now, not only admissions. So this is a text from Bloomberg. So it says that a lot of companies, mostly top consulting, finance and banking firms, they routinely look to your GMAT scores. So GMAT is not only helpful in your admission and then it's over. GMAT is actually important even while you're looking for a job after your MBA. Now it says that this fact that this GMAT is important, this fact is well known to MBA students in the thick of job search, but is relatively unknown among applicants when they are taking the test. So it is important to understand that your GMAT score is not only going to be helpful in your admissions only, but also when you search for jobs after your MBA. Okay.